Hi. I want to talk to you today about what you can do to create art using paper towel rolls, or in this case, these are shorter, so they're um, toilet paper rolls. So, of course, make sure you disinfect these, spray them, or leave them alone for a few days. Make sure there's no germs on them. And so let's talk about what I could do with these toilet paper rolls. The first thing I wanted to show you is how I could take this roll and decorate it while it's all one shape or all still together. And then I need to decide what to do with it. Do you know that you could actually cut this roll into strips? So I'm just going to sort of pinch it, but not quite all the way, so that it'll let me cut it like this. And I like that it's already decorated, so that would help me if I wanted to use this for a sculpture of any sort. Okay, I thought what I would do with this next part is show you how I can fold this in, just push it in and sort of flatten it so it looks like sort of triangles like that. And I'm pinching it. And when I'm done, this is what it looks like from the front. So now my next decision is, what is it? I could turn it upside down. Now it's a little pot. I could put two of them together and do something that way. I thought I would make this some sort of an animal. So if it's like this, then I want to add some eyes at least. And I'm going to draw on here 2 circles for the eyes. And now I need to decide what kind of animal or creature is it. At first I thought I was going to make a cat, but now I think I'd rather make an owl. Do you see those owl eyes? And then, so what shape would I use for the beak? Triangle or a diamond, don't you think? Okay, so I'm gonna draw a little triangle. See if I can do this on the screen. Like that. That'll work. And then maybe I could create a little design under it that represents its stomach and add some wavy lines here to look like maybe there's some wings to the side. Flip it over, do it on the other side. These kind of lines are called scallop lines. They remind me of the letter U over and over again, or the letter W. And let's do, the stomach looks too much like a smiley face. So I'm going to put a line right here and maybe do the letter V over and over again to give it the feeling of feathers. And now I've made a little owl. Ooh, should he have a design on the front of his ears? Possibly a triangle. And of course I could color that in. So not bad for my first try of the paper towel roll. Now, just for the fun of it, let's flip it to the other side and see what other animal I could turn it into. What do you guys think? I think it could be a cat, which was the first thing I wanted to make. So again, I need eyes. This time the eyes could be small. Can you see that? And triangle nose again. making sure that it points down when I drew the triangle. And the letter U, and the letter U again, and some whiskers. And there's my little cat. Again, I can come back in and create ears. So I see a triangle spot right there and another triangle spot right there. So all those green swirls and dots that I did on there just make it have more of a decoration. I want you to feel like you don't have to have a lot of art supplies to make this happen. So if you have a crayon or a marker and you want to color the whole thing in first, that's fine. If not, you could just find any tool to draw on and just try to make it show up from a distance. Cool. All right, so this is one thing to do with the paper towel roll. And we talked also about cutting it. I love cutting these because then I could pinch it and turn it into flower petals. I could pinch it twice and create another kind of a shape. I could cut this apart. Let's put my marker away. So what if I cut it right here, and this could be the ears, the tail. So let's say if I made this into an animal, this could be his tail. Or I could cut this into two pieces because you want two arms or two legs. Notice how I'm just holding that in there so I can cut it and attach it here. So this is looking like a bunny or a dog, or if it was a dog, maybe the ears would flop out this way. If it's an elephant, maybe it has a trunk. Now, where would I get the big ears from? Look at how I'm curling this. I could actually take this piece and wrap it around a pencil or a pen. Give it a little pinch. See how it's on there? Give it a little pinch and then let go of it. And now it's a curled piece, which is kind of a fun thing to do for a trunk or a beak or arms. Turn it this way and glue it. Ooh, ears. There's the dog ears. That'd be fun. Or again, it could be use two of these, and now we've got the antenna that you would use for a butterfly or a caterpillar. All kinds of ideas. So every time you think it's trash, it's probably not, because you can use it, reuse it in a fun way. Okay, so let's say that I've got two of these. Oh, now I've got binoculars. What if I turn it this way? How easy would it be to glue it like this and make this the head and the body? Or if I cut this again, remember, I can just hold it sideways and cut. If you want it all equal, then you would have to use a ruler and measure and choose the distance that you want. I just usually guess. So that's fine, but then sometimes you're upset because things don't match. Okay, so if I've got two of these, now this could be the body, the head and the body. Turn it this way. This could be the face and the body. Then again, I've got my scraps, and I could add wings, I could add a tail, I could add ears, and everything is just kind of gluing like this. Now, when we glue things, sometimes it takes forever for the glue to dry. So you could use, of course, regular white glue and just draw a little line of glue. Dots, not lots, right? And then you're going to have to pinch it and count. Usually 10 to 20 is how long that I count. Now, if you do not want to hold that for very long, you could use a piece of tape to hold it down. Then you take the tape off. You could use a paper clip or a clothespin to hold it down. Leave it alone. So I'm just going to set it down and then say, well, while I'm waiting for it to dry, maybe I want to make some eyes. And what kind of paper could I use? Oh, I told you guys to save these, remember? So I'm just going to use this little bitty flap because I figure I don't need that later. And I'm just going to cut a little bit of this off because I might want to save this rectangle shape for later. And now I've got some white paper. You know, we have this really cool trick. I'm actually going to use the part that has the sticky part. Do you see on here? There's like a little line of glue. It's dry, which means you usually have to lick it to get it to stick. So I'm going to just cut a little rectangle of this off and decide what shape do I want to make. I'm going to do for the eyeballs. And we've talked about this many times. The trick is to fold it like a book so that you can make two that are exactly the same. It is too hard to cut one of them out and then make another one to match. But if you shut it when you cut it, then you can have two. I'm going to try to remember which side was the sticky side. And I'm going to just cut any shape out that I want. Remember, it doesn't even really matter what shape it is because when I cut it out, I've actually got two. Cool. Now, I did get a little bit of that sticky part out. So I might be able to just lick it and stick it on. That would be super cool, especially if you don't have glue at home. All right, so here we have my two pieces. We hope that they're dry enough that I can hold it up without it falling down. If I pull on it, it will fall apart because it's not really that dry. Then let's see if I can lick it and stick it. Eye number one. And lick it and stick it. This is the best idea. I didn't even know I had this idea. Sometimes while you're working, that's when the ideas happen. So now I've got two eyes, and I still haven't even decided what kind of person or animal is it. So right now I just got the two eyes. I need to hold it up somewhere so you can see it better. And it's going to fall down probably. Oh, hey. Oh, I know. Look, see this lid? I can set it in the lid and it won't roll around. And it makes it even a little bit higher for you. Okay, so let's assume that it has a nose, and I just have some scrap paper around the house. Again, if you have a magazine, if you have one of those pizza ads, you could cut out a little pepperoni piece and stick it on there. So any little scraps from magazines will work. I just happen to have this ready today, but anything will work. So I just cut the corner off to be a triangle, to be the nose. And this does not have lick stick, so I'm going to have to use some glue. And of course, I want to stick that on there. I can use, see, this fell off because it's not really dry. So the best thing to do is really glue this down and go do something else while you're waiting for it. So now we've got eyes. I could use my marker to put two black dots. Okay. Ooh, that's starting to look like little chicken eyes, doesn't it? Little chicky. Now, if I decide I know I want to do a chicken and I wanted it to be yellow, I could take paper and wrap it in here. I could also take markers and color the whole thing, or I can just leave it the natural color of the cardboard. It's up to you. Now, if I don't have anything to glue on there, could I just draw it all? I sure could. All right, so we're going to set this down. And I may need to go ahead and find a paper clip or something to hold it still. I'll be right back. So a lot of us have a drawer with a bunch of junk in it. I sure do. We call it our top drawer. So I've got just different things in this drawer in my kitchen. So I was able to just run and grab some things. So one of the things we said is I could tape it temporarily. I never ever like for the tape to show. It's supposed to be your little secret. Sometimes you have to, being that we're trying to make the best of our situation. But I just put a little piece of tape on the side. After the glue dries, I can take the tape off. I'm going to give it another little squirt of glue since I've moved it around so many times. Or if you have a chip clip or anything that could clip it, it's going to pretend to be your fingers because we get tired of holding it, right? Okay, so there we go. We've got the eyes. I kind of wish the eyes were up a little bit more, so I'm just going to push and squeeze on this. I could roll it forward a little bit more if I wanted to, and pinch it a little bit more. Okay, so if it's a little chickie, does the little chick have wings? Could I glue those on like that? Sure. Does he need a little tail? Ooh, I think the tail would look cute poking up. So it's up to me how I do that. But remember when I cut this last time, I had two that match. I rolled one of them. So now I can just kind of flatten it back out again. Again, I can color these. I can put little feather designs on it and then glue it on. Okay, so I think this one is a really fun way to create a little creature, and it's pretty simple and easy. Don't forget that you can also keep your roll vertical and create a character. And I still had one of these pieces left because you just never know what you want to do with all your leftovers. It's always nice to give a little trim and a little extra. Did you know, some of you guys love doing this, what if you made this a piece of jewelry and it fits on your wrist? Okay, this could fit on a pet, this could fit on a doll, or it could be a superhero band. You could write words on it, you could put patterns on it. Pretty simple. Ooh, what if you took string or ribbon and went around it and decorated it? That would be fine too. Okay, I did want to talk to you guys about lids, especially you little guys. What could I do fun with this lid? When I see this lid, I think, this could be a bug. What if I have more than one lid? Well, let's turn this one into a bug first. So I have some red paper here. It's just leftover paper. I can trace this lid. Always trace it with a writing utensil. Do not just try to cut around that because it's going to wiggle and it's not going to work. So just take your pencil or pen and just trace around it. I have to lay it flat to do that. Go around it. Ask somebody to hold it still for you if you need to. And when you're done, this should be the same exact size of the item that you needed. Okay. Just quickly cut that out. You could cut it a little bit smaller or stay on the line, inside the line, or outside of the line. I always try to do a little bit outside the line because I'm afraid I will lose my way and I will lose the line. But that's up to you. I know some of us are really practicing how to cut on the line. And so it looks like I'm cutting on the line, but I made sure the line was still there. That's the trick for me. Because if I get inside of that line, then the shape gets a little bit wonky and it doesn't look like a circle anymore. Okay, so there I go, and it fits. It's actually a little bit bigger. So if that bugs you, cut it some more. If you're okay with that, that's good. Now I think I can use plain white glue to stick this on here and just stick it right on there. If you don't have glue, again, you could use a piece of tape, sticky tack, all kinds of ideas of what you could do. Okay, so now we have my little bug, and it reminds me of a ladybug. So I'm just going to draw the letter Y on there like this. Now, if my lid was plain, I could just draw straight on the lid. So let's practice that. I can just draw straight on the lid. What if you do not have a permanent marker that will stick on plastic. What other choices do you have? Do you have nail polish? You could do little tiny dots of nail polish. Now, nail polish will ruin your clothes. It'll ruin your furniture. It'll ruin the carpet. It'll ruin a lot of things. So if you do use nail polish, you have to ask first and probably get an adult to make sure that you're in a good spot. So I'm sitting here on a tablecloth. The last thing I want to do is get that dirty. So could I put a piece of cardboard down as my placemat, as my messy mat, we like to call it, a place where I can make a mess and it won't hurt anything underneath it. So that's a good plan. All right, so here I've made a little orange bug. And I'm going to go ahead and color in this one part. And I'm going to give it sort of like 2 little extra dots that remind me of the antenna, like that. Now, that could be totally done, and woohoo, I made a piece of art out of a lid. But this bug would be lonely, so could I make more bugs out of more lids? Could I get a green piece of paper and cut out a leaf or a branch or a blade of grass for it to be on? So here's my, just cut a little rectangle. I always like to make a smaller piece so that this isn't in my way. And I could fold it to make sure it's a symmetrical leaf. And what I like about that is if I start right here on the fold and I wiggle, 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 and I end back on the fold, see, here's the folded part. I'm going to start cutting on the fold, and I'm going to end cutting on the fold like that. When I open it up, here's my little leaf. Then I could glue my bug on there, and it looks like it's got a little home. I could make 5 leaves, and he's kind of like crawling around in there. So could I put a magnet in there? What if I need something flat behind it? So remember how I traced around this? I could go ahead and cut, just glue it straight to the leaf. So I'm going to just put this white glue around the perimeter. Perimeter means the outside edge. And stick it down. Now, I could make it lay flat on there, or I could let a little bit stay up. I always set something heavy like the glue bottle right on top of it just to hold it down while it's drying. Okay, so back to our little ladybug here. I do think the glue is working. What if you don't have glue at home? Did you know that you can actually take flour that you make cookies and cakes out of? It's called baking flour, and mix it with water and stir it up really smooth, and it'll make your own homemade glue. Okay. All right, so here's my little ladybug, and I'm going to color in the top of that Y all the way and put the dots so you can tell it's a ladybug. Now, if I was making a whole bunch of bugs on a whole bunch of different bottle caps, I might have fun with the designs, and it wouldn't matter if there really is a bug in the world that looks like that. You could just make one up. So now this looks like a ladybug. How fun is that? And on this side, and if it bothers you, of course, that this is a little bit too big, I could have cut that off before I stuck it on there. So I could have my ladybug have an antenna or antennae. And I just, again, looked in my little junk drawer, and I save all this kind of weird stuff, but this is just one of the twist ties that came on something that I bought. So I could take this and sort of try to find where halfway is, and then bend it so it makes an interesting shape. Kind of like the letter C, or make a spiral like that. And then I would attach it to the ladybug. Now, it might be hard to get it in there. What if I stick it underneath this and trap it down in there? I think that's my favorite choice. There's probably other ways to do that. That's why you're the artist. You figure it out, right? There's my little ladybug that I made. Let's put a light colored piece of paper behind it so you can see. See the antenna? That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Now, again, what are you going to do with it? Do you want to put a magnet on the back? Do you want to glue something else to the back? Do you want to glue a smaller lid inside of it so that it has a flat surface? Now it could just be a toy. I could hang a string and make it a necklace. What you choose to do with it is your decision. Okay, so our topic this week for Earth Day is really just to reuse things that would ordinarily go in the trash. So we looked at using paper towel rolls, and we've looked at using bottle caps. Those are the easiest ones that I thought we could work with. There are a million ideas of things to do with items that were in the trash. So let's just look at one more idea, and that was to use egg cartons. I love working with egg cartons. This one is styrofoam. The good news, super easy to cut out. So I can just cut right along here on the fold and decide, do I want this part to work with or this part to work with? They both have really cool things about them. So this one I like because it could be little containers that hold things like jewelry or coins. I probably don't need this little flap, right? So I could cut that off. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember, never throw anything away until you're completely done because we might need this for something. And I'm just going to choose 4 of these. So I'm going to line this up. And if this, again, is too difficult, then this is a project you would do with an older brother or sister, aunt or uncle, or of course, your parents, anybody else is in the home. I try to pick things that I think you can do without help, but if you need help, please ask. Don't hurt yourself or get frustrated because you can't do it. So what can I do with 4 of these? I see a flower. Do you? Like this could be the inside, and then 4 of these are like the petals. And what if I had another lid? I'll just borrow the lid to the glue stick. Pretend like this is a bottle cap that I found, and I could stick it in the middle. The great thing about this is I can actually smash this down in there. I just push down, and now it doesn't even come out. Cool. Then I could glue things to it. I could poke holes in it. I could draw on it with a permanent marker. Again, probably nail polish would stick to styrofoam. Styrofoam's not easy to get things to stick to it. So you might do better with poking holes in it and put strings in it. Like I have all of these twist ties. You're probably like me, you've saved a bunch of them. So I could poke a hole in here and push it through. So, secret, ink pens are great hole punchers. You can just kind of twist it a little bit. It doesn't usually hurt the pen, and you can get a nice little hole through there. And then I could stick that in there as well. That doesn't look interesting to me, but what if I took it and I twisted it around and made a little twisty? So if I did that to all of them, it would look like something cool coming out of each of their petals. Or if I think that looks weird, I could come back and poke it in between spots. That means in between the circles. And a lot of times flowers do have cool things happening in between each petal. Okay, so let's say I just want 1 of these. Can I just cut 1 of them out? I think 2 would be a really good idea. And watch this. I've got 2, and I'm wondering if I can fold it and make kind of like a little cup with a lid. That's kind of cool. That part right there bent in. So, ooh, but now I see like a mouth. What could that be? So I could leave it where it does that. I could put a little wire in it and a little button or bead, and then it would help it stay shut when I want it to stay shut. And you could keep, again, jewelry, coins, your favorite little secret toys, whatever you want to put in there. Okay, so what if I just want one? Then I could just cut one. And I could make this, again, anything I want. Turn it right side up. It's a cup. Again, put a hole in it. And it could be a flower. It could be a game. You know those games where you have a pencil and a string and a little ball on it and you try to catch them? So you can make a game out of it. Again, obviously are thinking flowers this time of the year. I could cut this into little flower petal shapes. Because flower petals don't really have corners exactly like that. So what if I kind of cut it more like a petal shape, and that gives space in between them? So sometimes we just start playing with them and we make it up as we go. Other times you might sketch out your thoughts and gather supplies so you have what you need. Now this petal is a lot shorter, so that might be part of my plan, or I need to cut all of them shorter. We'll see what I decide to do. Again, save these pieces. You never know, you might glue them back in. And I think we'll just make this one big petal to there. See, even if I don't cut it great, I can just pull on out. Now there we've got the petals to a flower. Now what if I did 2 or 3 of these so it looks like a really fancy flower? Cool. Or now we've made legs. What could that be? I always turn things all the way around so that I get ideas that way. All right. So one of the things that I saw online that I thought was kind of cute was just making up a little character out of this. So now I need to figure out which side is the best side. This side to the front here looks pretty good. Okay. Set it back on my crayon box so you can see. Nope, you still can't see. All right. And I'm going to poke holes in the top. Does better from underneath, so I can pull down with my hand while I'm poking the hole. Never ever should I put my hand right there so I poke myself. I can hold it on the side, and there's 2 holes that I created. Because what I want to do is stick these wires through here. Now I could use just a bread tie like this. So you probably have some things around your house. Even a bobby pin might work, because you just want to give it a little extra something that's interesting. And now I've decided, is it going to be a made-up creature from another distant land, right? And if so, could I just poke holes in it to make the eyes? You can use a pencil the same way. I just like ink pens because they're metal and I feel like they're a little bit stronger. So now I've just made an alien or imaginary creature. Did you know that you can actually scrape into the styrofoam with the pen, and I can actually draw with this ink pen? So surely most of us have an ink pen around the house, and now I've made this fun little creature. If I want to give him more details, like maybe he has like these sort of spiky things, I can give him hair, or we don't know what kind of details we could add. But I'm just kind of having fun with it and drawing all over the styrofoam. Ta-da, I'm trying to get it where there's not so much of a glare. There we go. All right, so that should be plenty of ideas for our beginners. Remember that Special Areas has a Google Classroom where I have a slideshow for you to see. You can always just research on your own and do a search that says, what can I do with egg cartons? What can I do with paper towel rolls? What can I do with boxes? Let's say you've got a box. Look, I made a messy mat out of this box. What if you have a Pringles can? Oh, I totally forgot to show you that I had cut some wrapping paper scraps, and you could roll it all the way around this and glue it down. And that gives you just added decorations. You can take masking tape, you can take duct tape, you could glue all kinds of things on there if that's what you have at home. Please remember that if you need crayons, scissors, glue sticks or glue, markers, if you need any of those things at home, please reach out to me, reach out to your teacher, Ms. Tincher at our school, and see if they'll help you get some supplies. But again, I'm trying to make this so easy that you could do this at home without having to leave your house, okay? So I'm not even gonna measure this, I'm just gonna keep rolling it. And then this time I'm gonna use a glue stick. And always put the glue on the outside edge. You can see here the purple line is only on the edge. I don't need glue everywhere. And just take your thumb, hold it down, roll it down. So then I get to decide, is this a vase that I'm going to put flowers in? Remember my little flowers? Maybe I make a bunch of flowers and stick them in there. Maybe it's a silly character or a person. See how I'm tucking this in just so it has a nice clean edge. I could glue that if I wanted, or just let it stay. And remember that I can push this in like this. Is how I made the ears, or like when I made the owl and the cat. You just kind of push it down and pinch it like this. See what I'm doing? And on the inside it looks like that. On the outside it looks like that. And then I decide, what could it be? Okay, then I could draw or glue all of the details, deciding on what creature it is. Again, it could go sideways. Maybe these is the mouth to a shark, and then I need to glue something on the back side. Remember my little pieces? Maybe the tail or the fin. Like I could bend this over and I could cut a slit in there and stick it in, or I could fold it and pinch it like this and stick it on the top. Now it's going to be a shark fin, and then I would use some of my other scraps like this to make his tail. See, there could be a fish tail or a shark's tail. The fish has kind of polka dots, so that'd be cute like that. I could even add the wrapping paper to all of these so it matches, or have contrast with the natural color of the toilet paper roll, and like this. I could take white paper and make it have sharp teeth hanging down. All kinds of ideas. So the more you turn it and look at it all different ways, the more ideas you will get. When I looked at it sideways, I saw a mouth. I turn it that way and it could still be a mouth. This just looks like legs to me. So could I pinch it flat like this? I sure could. And then I've made something else that I think looks neat. This would make it way easier to add the fins to the back, wouldn't it? Like that. Stick it in there. Awesome. And that's how I could hold that in there. Remember how I used something to pinch it with to hold it still while the glue dries, right? Then I could pull these out. I could color them. I don't think this shape really looks like fins, so I could cut them in a better shape. If you happen to have any scrap papers at home, then you could cut out a nice big shape. Again, I always fold it, Keep it shut when I cut so that I have two matching things. Let's see. Go this way, so I'm imagining the fins. Like this. Ooh, now I've got wings. Oh, now we've changed everything. What if it's a butterfly? And this is the antenna. Well, this is too thick for antenna, but this could be the wings. That's kind of too small, but hey, now we're thinking. Get a bigger piece of paper. I still have more of this. I can make a big one for wings. Cut those out. Remember, if I keep it shut when I cut, I'll have matching wings. Like this. One big shape like that. If it helps, fold it this way and draw it first. And in that way, it's not ugly on this side. But here we go. So, oh, the points could be the antennas. Why didn't I think of that the first time? And then I could glue this on. That would be a bat if they were black, but you can make up any kind of character that you want. These could be the antennas. Oh, now we've got a bird. If it's a bird, maybe I want to shut it right here and make this the bird head and then add some tail feathers back here. The idea is the more you play with it and touch it and try it, the more you'll come up with, oh, here's his little beak, right? Don't throw your scraps away because they may remind you of something that you could use to attach to it. Okay, well, I'm pretty excited about the things that we've talked about today. If you need my help, you can schedule a Google Meets session with me and we can make it together. If somebody in the house can help you, I'm sure they would love to make art with you. Okay, so we're celebrating and honoring Earth Day this week. I probably will be doing Earth recycling all month because we just have more ideas than we can possibly do in just 1 week. So this week we were mostly focused on what could I do with paper towel rolls. Remember, we made our little chick and we did a cat on this side and an owl on this side. That'd be really fun for a puppet show because you could put your finger in there, just pinch on it and tell a little story. And then the other character is on the other side. That would be fun. Why don't you write a script and then act it out with your puppets? Of course, if you have more of these, then you could have lots of characters, 2 fingers maybe, or 3 fingers would work. And that way I don't have to hold it too much. Turn it this way when I say certain lines and then turn it this way for other lines. That's cool. Remember that we used egg cartons. Okay. And we also used lids. You may take lids off of containers. Remember, hopefully you finished drinking first before you steal the lids. And my little bug has been sitting on its leaf, so it has a way for me to not lose it or just give it a flat back. I could poke a hole in this. I could put a magnet on the back, or I could just leave it laying around as a nice little sculpture. All right. Well, have a great week exploring, digging through the trash and seeing what you can make. Remember to always ask first if you're not sure. Remember to clean it or give it some time for the germs to get off of it. We are saving envelopes. They're a great way to have paper at home. Any other materials that you have at home, you can make art out of all of them. Make a bunch of stuff. Could this be the nest for my little chick? Could this be the bed for, see, now this looks gross because it's got the grease from the chicken nuggets, but I could put clean paper inside there and decorate it nice. I could take markers and color this. You could wrap it in aluminum foil. There's all kinds of ways to make this look like art. Right now, this does not look like art. So the challenge is to cover this up. So really only the top rectangle doesn't look good. So if you had an index card, you could glue it to the top of that, right? Or again, trace this so you know how big you need it to be. Lay it down, trace around it, and just glue it to this top rectangle. And then the sides don't look too bad. You could probably cover that up with markers or crayons, or a piece of tape could go right across it, or cover it up with stickers and make yourself a little box. But I think it'd be fun if you made a little bed or a home, or it could be a little space for it to stand up in. All kinds of ideas with your trash. All right, well, have a great week. Remember that recycling and reusing is a gift to the earth, and we're in charge. We need to do the best we can to take a good care of our earth. All right.